You're watching The Edward Fowler Show. Now, here's your host, Edward Fowler.
I'm joined here today on the show by a member of the Stone Angels. Welcome along, James Innes. So, of course, if you're not familiar with James, then he is a part of Stone Angels. We did have on, I believe, the lead vocalist of Stone Angels on a few months ago. I don't know if you caught that.
No, I did. So Niall had a great time on the show.
Fantastic. Did he give you any I guess recommendations of what to expect tonight?
No, he kept a kind of a tight lip about it. Doesn't like to give he doesn't like to give spoilers.
Oh, I see. I like that. No spoilers, but we do like teasers. We have to say we do like teasers for sure. So if you can give us some teasers tonight, that would be excellent. I have to say. So you're here tonight to talk about The Gambler. This is awesome because when we were teasing this on social media, we did tease a song on my Instagram and also on the Instagram stories, and what a great song! I have to say,
Yeah.
it is lit.
Well, thank you. And that one, but for everyone who's not aware, the inspiration behind that song came from the fact that our drummer Loz, he moonlights as a professional poker player in his, I say his spare time. It's pretty much his full-time job. So you can find him often at the casinos, either in London or Brighton, plying his trade at the poker table. And so, yeah, we kind of Niall was the main brains behind the song itself. He came up with like the main lyrics and the main riff. But when we went to the studio, I felt like it was kind of maybe lacking something in a bit of his urgency. So that's why we incorporated the kind of siren effect on the lead guitar and the intro that you hear. I just wanted to kind of give it a bit more of a, I guess, a danger element, as I say to the song, because it's all about taking chances, really.
Taking chances, and did it take long to come up with the name of the song and for you to get the lyrics in place? Like, how did you guys create all that as well? Was it quite an easy process, or did it take a long time?
Well, that really depends on which song. Each song has a completely different process to the other. Like some just fall together so well, and others you have to kind of force, a square peg for a round hole sometimes. But this one, thankfully, I'd say it's medium. It was pretty easy to go through for a lot of it. As I say again, Niall, he had given probably about 70-80% of the song he'd already kind of completed when he brought it to us, and we just did a kind of tweaking the arrangements a bit. So it was a relatively pain-free process for the song, which is nice.
Good to hear. I guess then as well, when you guys, brainstorm for your ideas, of course you are very talented as well. Does that make your job a bit more challenging, or do you love a challenge when it comes to performing and doing a bit of singing as well while you're performing with your musical instrument?
Well, I think as a musician or as a band in general, we definitely we grow more and we become better when we push ourselves a bit more outside of our comfort zone. So it's one of the big things that we wanted to do between the first album and this new record, Up in Smoke, was that we really wanted to make sure that we weren't putting out a carbon copy of the first record out again. We wanted to show that we've actually grown as musicians. So I personally, like, in between the two albums, started taking singing lessons so I could give a bit more backing vocals and occasionally a bit of lead vocals to various songs on the album. As well as I incorporated things such as learning how to play slide guitar as well, just to give different elements, because I find it harder to be creative if I feel like I'm just trying to write the same song again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you there. We are, of course, very happy that this has come out as well. I love it. I think it's a great track. Do you think this could be the biggest single for you guys in 25, or have you got something which might top Gambler before the end of this year?
So we have one final single to release, which is actually the title track of our album, Up in Smoke. It's a very different vibe to Gambler. So Gambler's quite a hard, fast-paced one, whereas the Up in Smoke, for those who are unaware with the backstory behind the album, the song is a bit more of a somber track because the album itself was inspired by my house burning down. So this room that I'm in, before the house fire was actually a garage, and then thankfully through the rebuild, I managed to convert it into a bit more of a practical space. But yeah, so the track itself, that as a teaser for you, it's more about the emotional aftermath of the toll of being inside your house as it burns down, so your safe place, losing it basically. But rather than going down the kind of the rabbit hole of depression, uh, it has a happy ending, the song, because I was able to lean onto the I was able to lean on to the support of my bandmates, as well as my family, friends, and my wife. So it has a happy twist to the song. So again, this is going back to trying to do something different. I don't know many songs that start sad and end happy. So hopefully it translates when people hear the next single.
Yeah, yeah. But I do remember the fact that your lead singer telling me about that, about your house being damaged and being caught on fire, and I'm glad that you are okay, and I'm also glad that I'm hoping that it made out okay and safely, and hopefully not too much of your items were destroyed in the
Well,
fire.
so thankfully we'd actually started recording the album when the fire happened. So 90% of my music equipment was in the studio, but there was one guitar that I ran back in and saved. So while I don't recommend running into a burning building. I now know the answers to the question. If your house is on fire, what guitar are you going to save? Um, so to reveal the answer for all the guitar nerds out there, the guitar I went back in for was called a Gibson ES-325. It's a vintage one from the 1970s. It's a very nice walnut brown hollow body guitar. Um, if you don't play guitar, it'll sound like I'm speaking a foreign language for you there, but guitarists that are listening will know exactly what I'm just describing.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. I'm no expert in guitars, but so you were speaking to a fun language for me. But I'm sure there's people out there watching or listening to this will get what you're saying and will understand you fluently. But I mean, so was it your idea or was it the band's idea to create that particular song then about your house or about the fire?
So the fire itself happened just before the pandemic struck. So it was actually back in 2019 that the fire happened. And so when lockdown hit, I was basically shut off from the rest of the band. Like everyone was, couldn't go outside. I was in a I was put up in a temporary accommodation, living out of cardboard boxes, because I didn't want to unpack anything because we didn't know how long we'd be away from our home. But rather than seek therapy, which I probably should have done, I decided to try and channel my emotions into the art and write the song. It was a very cathartic experience writing the song. It was very difficult to begin with to kind of get the ball rolling. But then once I started getting the first couple of lines down, it all really flowed. And because I guess I was still, it really helped me process everything. But that being said, as I say, I do recommend therapy if you can afford it. I just couldn't at the time.
That's understandable, but I mean,
Yeah.
have you been to therapy now?
No, not yet, but I say I see the benefits of it. But again, I feel like I'm thankfully in a good mental state at the moment.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, yes, that is fair. Fair enough. What is, I guess, your biggest takeaway then? Have you perceived life differently after that extraordinary exposure, where you're, I guess, thinking this could this be the end?
Yeah, so it's yeah, obviously it does hit home how fragile life can be. It it all happens so quickly. So the walking from one room like that I was in at the time and coming into the hallway and seeing the fire and everything just leave like that split second change really just hit home quite a bit. So I guess one of the biggest things that it's changed for me as well as for my wife is that we would always have like say a bottle of whiskey or something like that on the shelf and we'll say, oh, we're saving that for a special occasion. Now we're like, why save it for a special occasion? Let's just have it because you never know that special occasion may never arrive. So it's not saying that we're starting to drink more, but it just means that we're not necessarily holding on to things for the sake of a potential future situation that might be suitable for it. So we're I guess we're trying to live a bit more is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. I get that. Take every chance, because you don't know what is around the corner, do you? You don't know what
Exactly.
tomorrow's gonna bring.
Yeah.
So, have you got any particular goals you are hoping to achieve as well in with the band? It could be, I don't know, something particular. It could be a certain venue where you would love to perform in front of, or
So,
anything
oh
like that.
yeah, so we every member of the band has a laundry list of venues, festivals, etc. This year has actually been a very good year for the band in certain things. So we just recently signed a sync deal, which basically, for those who aren't familiar with what sync is, they is a company that tries to help get your music onto TV adverts, film soundtracks, etc.
Oh, you've
Um,
impressive.
so 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 fingers crossed something good comes out of that. So that was a big goal for us that we wanted to get from the album, and then also we are we're booked onto several festivals this year. The biggest one is seeing us drive all the way out to Switzerland to play Summerside Festival, which features acts like Billy Idol, Europe, Royal Republic, Airborne, Ailstorm. It's essentially it's like the Swiss version of Download, which is another festival that we'd love to play. So yeah, to answer your question, uh, venues like the Roundhouse in Camden, I'd absolutely love to play. I'd love to play more big UK festivals such as Download, Bloodstock, but we're very grateful for the all the festivals that we're actually playing this year, because it's definitely the most festivals in one year that we're scheduled to play as a band. So it shows that we're going in the right way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like you are very busy, and it's good that you're getting your name out there in lots of festivals. Because that's a certain place, I think, where you're going to gain lots of new fans. Because there'll be many fans who'll be supporting you, and then you have all these extra people coming out to support other bands, but also checking out bands maybe
Yeah,
they've never heard of, and then hopefully will become a fan of new bands like yourselves. So I
yeah,
think
fingers
playing at
crossed.
festivals is a good way to get the word about, and it's a bit like face to face, isn't it? I guess like word of
Yeah.
mouth.
Exactly that, and we're we're trying to brainstorm how we can make our performance as memorable as possible, especially for this event as well. Um, can't give too many spoilers away, but I actually just coincidentally ordered my outfit for the event, and it's I've never worn anything like this, but yeah, you'll just have to keep out for our socials at the time to see photos of it when it comes live, uh, when we play the festival.
Yeah, I love it. Will you be posting some videos on YouTube on your channel
Uh,
as well from it?
yeah, fingers crossed. We're gonna try and capture as much kind of footage we can with our phones of the entire experience. Driving over there, as well as because we're going to be potentially out there for the entire festival, so it'll be the band just footage of the band running around the festival like loons, just enjoying ourselves, and then actually taking to the stage. So yeah, I think we'll be able to have a nice kind of recap video put up.
That's cool because we have. I will be tagging you your the band Stone Angels in the description below of the video as well because we were live and you may wonder why we just stopped live suddenly. It's because we keep getting disconnected because I realised what the issue is. It's nothing to do with me on my software or to do with you at all. It's that when I scheduled the live stream, I clicked the wrong box. So instead of clicking the low latitude box, I clicked the normal latitude, and that's why I kept getting disconnected. So I thought there's no point keeping this lag as you're not hearing the whole conversation. So I have been recording this, so this will be posted straight after we speak, by the way, James. So there's not long to go. So apologies for my delay and my
That's quite all right.
lack of technology. I feel quite bad because it happened last week with Wes as well on another one. So it's like all his guests are getting like the awful treatment from you or something. And that's not the case. So he's probably thinking, what on earth is he doing to all my guests? I'm getting on this show for him. So I sincerely apologize. All I can do. So please don't take it to heart.
It's nothing personal.
Oh, good. But yeah, because you guys are doing some amazing stuff, and it's just great that you guys are doing, I guess booming business at the moment with people finding your music and finding yourselves and actually getting that connection with you. And I
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's as I'm sure any of your other guests will tell you, it's never easy being a musician, and we've actually been a band since 2011, so it's been a while that we've been kind of kicking about. We've had more drummers than Spinal Tap during that time, but thankfully, we've got. I think the band's in the strongest position it's ever been now, which is great. It does feel that people are taking a notice of us. In fact, when Niall and when the band played Monsterfest up in Inverness in Scotland last year, we actually got spotted for the first time, which was quite a weird, weird experience. Stepping outside of the hotel, saying, "Oh, Stone Angels."
so you're becoming a little bit of a celebrity now, and I bet that's quite strange as well, isn't it? To start
Yeah,
with.
I wouldn't go as far as saying celebrity yet, but it it's occasionally seeing a bit more frequently people walking around wearing our t-shirts. That's a nice change that you see people wearing the merchandise.
Well, that's cool because obviously you guys are now getting your brand out there, you're getting your merch out there more. That is now getting spotted when you guys go out on the streets and you're seeing other people wearing your merch. So, has anybody come up to you directly yet to say, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your work as the lead guitarist"?
Only when we've been playing gigs. Not I haven't been accosted in the street yet. Maybe one day soon, fingers crossed. But yeah, thankfully, most of the time when people come up to me after a show is with a compliment
Good,
of the guitar playing.
good. I know Gambler is coming out on your new album, Up in Smoke, which at the moment is available right now on CD and vinyl directly from the band. So
Mhm.
if people would like to buy the album Up in Smoke, how can they get in contact with you guys? Is it just directly through
So
your social media, or do you got a
yeah,
particular?
so they can either reach out directly and message us, or our website, which is currently under maintenance, but it will be back up soon, www.stone-angels.com. And yeah, so they'll be able to either buy it from there or message us directly or at a gig. And we got plenty of gigs coming around, so by all means, come down to the gig, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and by what made you guys to decide not to release it everywhere, not just on physical but also streaming? Because I know at the moment a lot of bands choose to upload or I guess release things streaming first and then do a physical release. What made you do the opposite?
So, well, the reason why we approached it this way is that my day job, I run a PR company called White Lining PR,
Yeah,
and my area of expertise is helping artists on Spotify. So, with this album release, what we wanted to try and do was keep the physical release and the streaming side of things separate, because at the moment, or since the dawn of an album release, a lot of albums have followed the same template, which is two, three singles, and then release the whole rest of the album in one go. Now, that works fine for physical album sales, but as an independent band on a streaming platform, it's an outdated method because bands spend thousands of pounds to record an album. The last thing they want to do is for it to disappear as quickly as it arrived. And with the trouble with streaming, with social media and everything, the attention span of the audience is like, it just goes like that. And so if we were to have done, two singles and then released a whole album on Spotify, we would have gotten 1/10 of the traction that we've received compared to releasing each track as a standalone single on Spotify one every 2 months. And as a result of that, it's kept us relevant for a lot longer than had we just released it in one batch. And so that's why we decided to keep them separate because again, it means that those who are fans of us or discovering us during this journey and they don't want to wait for the full album to be released on Spotify can buy it physically from us straight away. And those who are happy to just support on streaming, we can stagger it, release each track in a consecutive release like that. And the reason why that's also great for us, it means that we're expanding and finding a bigger audience by in that way as well. So, like Daniel Ek, the Spotify CEO, has even said that if you want to have any kind of success on streaming platforms, you need to be able to release a steady flow of music. And so, by doing this approach for us, we've effectively had over a year's worth of new content that we're uploading to Spotify. So that's the very in-depth answer as to why we decided to keep it separate like that. But because it's just as it's my job to help artists on Spotify, I've noticed this trend myself, and we are seeing a much bigger, kind of much more dividends through doing this approach as well. And it's what I always advise any of my clients to do this kind of approach if they have the flexibility of time as well.
Good piece of advice, and I'm sure any musician or hopefully anybody who uses Spotify to upload content will take that on board. That's some good piece of advice there, James, and good explanation as well. Because I was just curious because I thought because I know like in modern day now most people do it all at once, don't they? Streaming and
Yeah.
physical. But I get your point, and I mean it's a very good idea to do. And I know I got some information here on my screen that says about that there's 120,000 songs uploaded to
Yeah.
Spotify. That's about
It's
3 million songs
a
which gets
month.
released and then just get forgotten about within
Yeah.
instantly. So
It's
yeah,
crazy. It's
great
crazy.
stats.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned about the about how people have a less time span compared to 10, 20 years ago. I believe it's now like 15 seconds, I think it is now. And
Mm.
that is, even though that seems very short, that's a lot of time as well to try and keep that person engaged
Oh
with
yeah.
your music within 15 seconds before they might skip or go to somebody else and check out their music and become a fan of theirs for longer than 15 seconds. So what is you as the band trying to do to keep people engaged on your side to keep them attractive to the songs you're now uploading, of course, over a year?
So that's a very good question.
Thank you.
I guess, as I say, I think how we've approached it, we've subconsciously, I think, approached it in that way. Because of the fact, as I said, we were trying to make sure that we weren't uh, just repeating the first album.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to push ourselves more with the how we approached the songs.
Hmm.
I think as a result, while if you listen to the whole album, uh, you can definitely tell it's us every single track, but no two tracks sound the same, which I think it's quite a good achievement for us. And I think that's how we kind of keep the audience on their toes guessing, because like this album on previous singles, Goes to New York and Halfway to Nowhere, we had strings put onto the songs as well. So we never had anything like that in the first album. And so, Halfway to Nowhere, I like to describe it as it's Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive in the verse meets Led Zeppelin's Kashmir in the chorus.
Love it.
And so I think, we just by not copy and pasting the same formula, I feel like we're giving, more, we're giving more in terms of the songs that we're putting out there. So I think that's how we're keeping people engaged.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that. And does it take you like guys longer to come up with different ways to present it in a way which you just said a moment ago?
Well, again, it all comes down to each individual song. Some fall together within a matter of seconds, and others you do have to kind of sit down with a couple of cups of tea and a notepad and just go, "How about this? No, that doesn't work. What about this? Why don't we put the bass here?" And it's a lot of songwriting is trial and error. So I guess, yeah. So I think about 80% of this album was trial and error and just kind of seeing what fits the best. So again, for any budding songwriter out there, is don't be afraid to write terrible music, but also don't be afraid to revisit those songs and kind of rework them to try and get something a bit better out there, because it there is no one kind of uniform approach, I think, to songwriting. It's a creative art, so you never know how the kind of inspiration, seed of inspiration, will strike you. It could be, you're just playing around on the guitar, or you could be sitting on the porcelain throne. Any musician will tell you, you never know when a good idea is going to strike.
Yeah, yeah, so I just received I am listening to you, but I just got an
Yeah.
email from Wes himself. You may get one as well, probably furious at me, but yeah, he's just written in to say that there's a lot of issues with the lagging, and I said, yeah, I know that. That's why I stopped the live stream. So we're pre-recording this because I know what I did wrong, and apologies again. The silly apologies doesn't usually happen on my show.
It's quite all right.
So, but yeah, technology. Sometimes it works fantastic for me, and then other times it's just a disaster. But yeah, this will be published this evening on the 15th of April, 2025. So don't worry about that. It will be published. I'll be working at around the clock straight after this to get up on YouTube correctly, and I'll also post a clip as well tonight. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I will post one on now just to show that you can now watch it on YouTube as well. But tell my viewers and listeners as well about where they can find the band on social media. Could you tell about where
Oh,
they can find you, where they can follow you, and check out your music? You already mentioned about where they can check out the physical side of things, but where can they follow
yeah.
you
So
for to come out to shows where you'll be at?
we're on all the usual platforms. So on Facebook, for example, if you just type in Stone Angels, you might have to put band afterwards, but you'll be able to find us through that. Instagram, our handle is at Stone Angels Band, and then also Spotify. So Spotify, a lot of people don't realize, is actually a social media platform, not just a music platform. So you can find us on Spotify as well. So please give us a follow, and they'll help you keep up to date with everything that's going on in the world of Stone Angels.
That's cool. I did not know that myself about Spotify either, so I learned something new tonight. You're not on TikTok, or are
We
you on
are on
TikTok?
we are on TikTok. Niall is the one that primarily handles that one. So again, I think it's Stone Angels Band that you'll be able to find us on TikTok. We're not quite as young and hip as some of the regular TikTok users, but we are kind of finding our feet on it at the moment.
Yeah, I think when I had Naya on, he was saying they're getting some good views on there, and it seems to be growing quite well. So I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and of course all social media, keeping up great content. Because unlike me, where I don't get many likes for some reason, don't know why, I can post great things and use emojis, etc., hashtags, what it might be, no attraction at all. I don't know why that is. So I did, because when I tagged the page yesterday, is an example for you. Maybe you know I'm doing something wrong. So I tagged you guys on Facebook yesterday, a few minutes after I posted on Instagram, and then I got no traction at all. So I figured, oh, this is not very good. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It's just very, very hard on social media. So what I do
Yeah,
is
it's
I send out messages to people, say, oh, like this, like this. to get some traction to get the algorithm to work. And then so I do apologize to the people I do bother because like I'm just
Oh
basically
no,
spamming them.
it's quite all right. It's very hard to kind of get the algorithms or get the it is a fine art. Like to put this in perspective, again, I don't know Wes is that I actually organize my own festival as well, called Pride Rock down in Brighton. It's Brighton Pride's first rock metal alternative event. Where I'm going with this is our headliner this year is Sophie Lloyd, who, as you may know, is a huge Instagram, TikTok,
Mm.
Twitch kind of guitar goddess. Machine Gun Kelly's live guitarist, and she's put
Yeah.
out her own killer solo album, Imposter Syndrome, which has everyone from Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, Chris Robertson from Blackstone Cherry, Nathan James from Inglorious.
I know
So
exactly who you mean because
yeah,
I actually reached out to her before and I will say this publicly. She did respond back to me saying that she would love to come on my show, but then we never made it happen. So if she's listening to this, I doubt she is, but if you are listening to this, come on the show.
yeah.
I'd love
Well,
to have you to talk about it.
but yeah. So the point that I was just making there was that she and her management have given me some advice when what times of day she has felt works best to
Okay.
get engagement with her posts. And for example, so it's simple bits of advice is that you want to try and hit the traffic jam kind of hours, so 9 in the morning or 5 to 6 in the evening for posting, because that's so 8 and 9 in the morning, because that's when people are commuting, and they're most likely going to be on their phones if provided they're not driving. Uh, so they're just on public transport. They're most likely going to see content during those times.
Got yeah. I was gonna say, I think it'd be a bit hard to if they're driving and then taking their YouTube or whatever at the same time,
Yeah.
or social media, whatever it might be. Yeah, okay, I get you now. Yeah, yeah, that is good sometimes because because someone did to me on the show, and because I have lots of people on the show, so I always sometimes forget their names, not intentionally. Because I just have so many what's going on. It's hard to keep up with everybody, but I know there's a chap on out on last Monday, I want to say it was, and he said to me because something similar to what you just said, but he was saying that you should post 3 times a day. I don't know how true that is because I have seen videos on YouTube and what I was saying you should only post once or twice a day, depending on how the algorithms work. So I don't know how often you guys as a band post on social media.
So we only ever try and really post when we have something to say.
Yeah.
Um, there's there's plenty of people out there that just post for the sake of trying to keep relevant on the
Mm.
platform. Uh, and that's when you become more of a social media personality rather than a musician in my eyes. But at the end of the day, you have to kind of play the game to a certain extent. We don't post anywhere near as much as 3 times a day. It might be a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's mainly just to let know of like upcoming shows that we're doing, etc., and any kind of like any milestones that we're hitting with our music, just to keep the fans engaged
Mm.
with what we have. Like there's I'm sure on our trip out to Switzerland, because we're going to be bored in the van, there's going to be a few more posts of various band members sleeping,
or doing some pranks as well, maybe.
yeah, potentially. And who knows what goes on tour stays on tour unless it's on your phone.
But speaking about that as well, shout out to of course Greg as well, the person who said to me about posting 1 to 3 times a day to keep up with the consistency, I guess. But he said about same time as you, 8 9 o'clock in the morning, and then about 5 or 6 or even 7 o'clock at night. But
Mm.
according to my analysts, for some reason it's in America. I don't know why. So it says 12 p.m. PST time is when I should post on social media. I don't think that's right, and I can't change it to show the UK side of things. So I think 6 o'clock, 5, 6, 8, and 9 o'clock in the morning seems to be reasonable time because
Mm.
people are commuting and coming home and whatnot. So that's a good time. But on the point you just made, then I was going to say that on that point, it's it's great, isn't it? And I think that what you're doing is just fantastic.
Oh, thank you, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to keep building momentum so we can enter the studio for album number three.
Yeah, yeah. But I remember going to say that. I kind of forgot. I had to make something up then. I made something up, but I know what I was going to say to you now. Who do you think out the band is the most, I guess, prankiest out of the band? Do you think who do you think would be the more to do pranks on the other band members?
Um, that's a tough one. I feel like everyone in the band can give as good as they can get. But I will probably say Sam, our bassist, is
Okay,
probably the he's he's the the devil makes work for idle hands kind of guy. So yeah,
love it.
my money's on Sam.
Love it, because I thought you might have said yourself then, or even Niall. 'Cause I was going to say, because when I've had that Niall on it, I didn't think he comes across like a practical joker. He just seems like very relaxed, very laid back kind of bloke. Could be wrong, but that's the impression I got from on the show
Well,
anyway.
he just lulls you into a false sense of security like that, you know.
But I feel like with yourself, I feel like you're quite laid back and quite cool guy. So I couldn't really see
Thank
you
you.
as a practical joker either, to be honest.
Oh, I have a good sense of humor. I've got a long-suffering wife with all my attempts at dad jokes, but
You know, when you guys started the band and you were starting to, use social media and to use the different streaming sites to publish your music on as well, and where's been the, I guess, the wildest countries you never thought you would ever hear someone listen to your guitar on a track the furthest away? Where's that been for you? What's been the craziest?
so the craziest locations, like um we're getting quite good global coverage at the moment. So like Spotify says we're being played in like 160 different countries,
Wow.
which is fantastic. But the fact that we're getting as far away as places like Jakarta, Indonesia,
Wow.
Japan, places that I've always wanted to visit, but is so it's crazy to think that because of technology, our music is traveling further than we are.
Yeah.
But it's a great thing because we're getting we can see as a result of getting into these new territories the new fans that we're getting following us on like Facebook as well. So it's wonderful to see that we're actually kind of reaching more people. But yeah, so I'd say Jakarta, Indonesia was the one that kind of took me by surprise when I first.
Yeah, because it's quite an unusual country, isn't it, to be able to listen to music from
Yeah.
UK. You wouldn't expect something from there to be listening, but obviously they got a
Oh, they've
good
got
taste of music. They got a good sense of
yeah. Well,
music for you.
so from what I've learned looking into it is that Jakarta has a huge rock scene, like Indonesia itself. They love rock and metal, so that's
Interesting.
why people are kind of coming across us, which is great.
It is because obviously they're liking what you guys are doing and think you guys are awesome and on the point you made a moment ago about how you're getting traction around the world, you need to change that and actually start maybe hopefully at some point going to those countries, maybe Japan.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, definitely. That's something, one of the I say bucket list, one of
Yeah,
the shopping list of things that we want to achieve is we really to kind of take our show on the road to the next level. We need to get a booking agent involved because everything we're doing is by ourselves. We ideally need to have someone who has a connection in those territories
right.
that will be able to, because again, for those who don't know, the booking agent is the person whose job it is to make sure that you're kind of getting gigs in new places, potentially supporting bigger bands. So hypothetically, you know, we would love to, a booking agent would be the person that could get us to go on tour with, say, Rival Sons or Blackstone Cherry, and to make it more realistic for us to go to those far away territories, we would need to kind of almost go underneath the wing of a bigger band. Um, just because then we're kind of playing in front of their fans, and that's how we would also then grow our own fan base a bit more in those territories. But it's with this industry, it's all about who you know. So that's where the booking agent, a good one, will be the one that be will be able to pick up their phone and go, "Hey, I've got these guys for you. Let's get them on your tour." So that's
Got you.
fingers crossed the next step. So.
Because I was under the impression that you could just do it yourself. You could reach out to different venues
Oh,
yourself
you
in
can
those
you can
places.
do,
But
and that's what I'm doing.
okay,
But it's people are always going to be a lot more receptive to picking up the phone to someone that they know, so
yeah,
an
I get you. I get you.
friend,
Yeah.
rather than some guy going cooey.
Yeah, some random bloke from the UK thinking this might be a red flag here. So yeah, I get what
Yeah,
you mean. But I just thought to save costs for you, or you could even open up like a donations page or something to
yeah,
say,
yeah. So it's a case like hopefully again, when now that we're playing bigger festivals
yeah,
like Summerside, uh, we're going to hopefully leave our mark, make a few connections because there's a lot of big bands that we're going to and their entourage, their
mm,
management, etc. That are going to be at these events, and that's 9 times out of 10. That's quite common for a lot of bands. How they get spotted is that people are seeing another band, and then these guys come along and they go, okay, we should be focusing on these guys.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think as well when you guys go out to these big festival shows this year, then what can the live fans expect from you guys when you are out there performing?
So, so one thing that as a band we want is we all hate it when you see a band and they are just standing still on stage, not moving. Obviously, drummers are a bit limited to where they can run around, but like for example, my biggest musical inspiration is Angus Young from AC/DC, and so everyone who knows AC/DC knows that he runs around like a madman on stage. So I try and run around as much as I can. If you ever see me busting out the duck walk, it's a tribute to Angus. I like to throw it in there every now and again. But that's the thing that Sam, Niall, and we all have big fun, wireless guitar leads, so we can not be stuck to one spot on the stage. So we can it gives helps give better crowd interaction. I know from being a member of the crowd myself, I hate it when bands are stuck on their designated spots and they never come over to the other side because I want to see everyone. Um, and so that's why we want to make sure that everyone in the crowd has a chance to get some good face time with
Yeah,
each members of the band.
I like that.
Um, and so yeah, so we want to make sure that the energy of our music is replicated live
Mm.
because again once the crowd starts feeding back off what we're doing then we start feeding back off the fans and it just kind of builds up into a powder keg and that's the best shows that we've ever had.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I feel like it comes like chemistry, isn't it? You know, when you
Yeah,
sit down with somebody, having a conversation, it's a bit like that, but on a, I guess, wider scale, but in less
yeah,
time as well.
yeah. No, it's and the when the shows when the energy is right, it's the best feeling on the planet. I've the endorphin release, the adrenaline rush.
Yeah,
Uh, it's just that's the power of music at the end of the day.
exactly, exactly it is. And I got to say as well, we did share this briefly, but I do love it. The cover art for the Gambler, uh, great person. Whoever's created that for you guys, phenomenal job. It's eye
So
catchy
we
and it works great.
yeah, so thanks. So it's a great guy called Sam from Dose Prod, and he works with loads of big people. Like he's done Skin Dread's last couple of albums. He does, I think, shows like Netflix posters, etc.
Wow.
He's a very good guy. We've been every single piece of artwork associated with the Up in Smoke album, so all the singles has been through him. So he's just yeah he's done a phenomenal job. Highly recommend him to any artist who's looking to get some good artwork done.
Yeah, no, he's done a phenomenal job for you guys. And did you give him any I guess direction
Oh
to go in with it,
yes,
or did you
yes.
just let
So
him do what he wanted and that's the outcome? Because either way,
so
it's
I,
fantastic.
I was basically responsible for giving him a brief for each of the individual songs, what they were about, and kind of what we wanted. Uh, so, I maybe gave him 20% direction, and then the other 80% was all his imagination. So, he's done a great job with everything.
Yeah, no, he has. He's done a top-notch job for you, and I hope for you do many, many more years work for you guys because he's doing the best he can, and it's helping you guys out as well to draw attention, which is great in this modern day.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I will now give you the final word here on my show for you to say anything you would like to get it off your chest, which is important, which I've not brought up, which you think it is important to mention before we wrap this chat up.
Sure. So I guess the thing that I should touch on, which is coming up very soon for Stone Angels, is our next gig. So for anyone who is in Brighton or willing to commute down to Brighton, so on Saturday, the 26th of April, so not this weekend, but the following weekend, we are playing alongside our very good buddies King Kraken as part of the March of the Gods album tour. We're going to be performing at the Water Bear venue, which is right by Brighton Seafront. It's a lovely little venue, and it's going to be a great night. Tickets are on sale now, which you can come across, see on our social pages. But yeah, come on down if you're at Loose End.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Thank you so much for that. And as I say, be there or you can be squared, can't they? As the saying
Indeed.
goes in our country. But yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, James. And before we wrap it up, I want to know when Wes said, "Oh yeah, I got you booked on this bloke's show." Did you Google me?
Oh yeah, and I've been kind of following what you've been doing
Oh,
as well
thank you.
because of the fact that, as I say, I do Spotify PR. I actually work alongside Wes a bit. So you had Greg from Hush Money. He's
Yes.
one of my clients as well.
Ah,
So yeah,
fantastic.
so like the fair amount of the people that Wes puts through to you, I'm kind of also working on the Spotify side of things. Yeah,
Love it, love it. But I mean, yeah, 'cause with the Greg one, I don't know if you saw that, but we had some issues with his as well. We're like, oh, come
oh,
on,
okay.
give me a break with West client. And
Yeah,
obviously, I got some kind of bad connection with West clients at the moment, where when I mention name Wes, the connection's like, oh, let's not do that today.
it's a trigger word.
Yeah, yeah, but we'll get there. Third time lucky, I'm sure. But I hope you've not been put off by
Not at
what's
all.
happened today, and I hope that I've not give you a bad impression from what you've seen of my other better quality interviews when the connection has worked correctly on live shows. Compared,
I've had a great time. Don't worry
good.
about it.
Phew, phew, phew. Who would you suggest to come on the show next after yourself? Would you say?
There's so many. That's a great thing because there's so many great artists, around our size, especially in the UK.
Mm,
Um, there's people like I presume Wes has already probably brought on the Revenant for you. I would say other bands like Star Circus would be pretty cool.
okay,
Haxon as well. These are two artists I'm just currently working with at the
perfect.
moment. And they're flying the flag for the new wave of classic rock quite well at the moment.
Yeah. Good. Good suggestions. I will contact them, reach out to them, and see if we can get them on the show as well. So thank you so much for those suggestions. They will keep me busy into May because I got this month kind of wrapped up, and I'm thinking I need to book some for May now. I need to be a month ahead. I know I had that before where I can be a month ahead, so I want to get into the habit of that. It'd be quite good. So I would
I
definitely.
guess you're a popular man then, I
I
guess.
am at the moment with Wes anyway, but after today, might not be anymore with this awful technology I've had. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, Wes has taken the funny side from it, and that we're only having a good old laughter about him. But yeah, I will get it all fixed so that when if there's a possibility for another person to come on the show from who Wes and you guys look after, then hopefully third time the charm it will go smoothly. But I do hope you'll come back on the show though when you've got
Oh,
more news to share. Or neither,
definitely.
either
Yeah.
you or him are welcome.
Yeah, well, we might even bring along Loz or Sam,
Yeah, yeah, that's fine with me as well.
the
Because
whole band in.
yeah, bring the whole band in. That'd be quite cool in your man cave if you did it in your man cave. But
Yeah, we just about all fit in here, so it'll be
yeah, I think enough room for about four of your five. Maybe even bringing Wes in as well.
yeah, no, it might be a bit of a long drive for him from Bristol, but
Shout out to Wes anyway. But no, it's been a great chat with you. I can't believe that we've been recording this for 50 minutes or so. So it's been
yeah, the
great.
time's flown by.
It has indeed. It has indeed. And if you enjoyed tonight's episode, then make sure to share the video around. Tell about James Inns and tell about Stone Angels. Check out their music. Buy their latest album in from them directly by reaching out to them on social media or by the website. Check out them in person at these great festivals as well, which you can find out more information on their social media or the website as well, which we mentioned early on in the episode. But if you particularly like the episode, make sure to smash the like button, leave a comment in my comment section below of what you thought, any future questions you want to ask James or any member of Stone Angels, if of course they'll come back on the show, if depending if Wes will allow them to come back on this crazy show of mine where I can't get the technology to work. As well, if you want to see more of my great content and want to see more of my episodes with past guests in my archive or future guests, then give me a subscribe. We've got over 303 subscribers. That's the biggest amount I've ever had on YouTube, because on my previous channel I've had 240 subscribers. So this is the biggest amount of subscribers I've ever had. So it's great that people like my content, and I wish I could do it more smoothly, but this shows you that not everything goes according to plan all the time for these bigger YouTubers. They make it look easy, but I'm showing you right now a lot of time and effort goes into making this show as perfect as possible. So
this is how the sausage gets made.
Yeah, exactly right. So I do my best. But yeah, thank you so much, and enjoy until the next episode drops, whenever that may be. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon or evening.
Thank you very much.